I am just getting started, so if you are following along, give me just a second and we'll get moving. Come on, computer, you can do it. I believe in you. And then going over here, let's kick on some music. Hot dogs or legs. I don't know what this song is, but hopefully it's something we'll all enjoy. Come on, computer. Alright. So I made this dice bag a long time ago. That view looks okay on TikTok. If you don't like it, let me know. Alright, where are we at here? Turn this off. Okay. Alright. Okay, so what I have here, this is my junk jar, right? It's where when I don't have enough rings to make another project out of the rings that I currently have, they go in the junk jar. And if I can't add them to an existing project, they get thrown in here. And actually, let me just see what I have in here. Oh wow, that was rude. We got some of the anodized titanium that we used up all the rest of it. These 18 gauge 3/16 rings right here, I can use those for something. I'm gonna set those aside. We're looking for not that. I found one square wire ring that is, what is that, 16 gauge 3/8. And I've got a bunch of 5/16s, but I'd like 3/8. Let's sit here. Alright, and I can go through this later and sort out the 18 gauge 3/16 stuff. Another square wire. What size are you? That looks like 1/4 inch. That looks like 5/16. Check my 18 by. No, I won't do that. This is a 3/8 ring, but it's round instead of square. And I have a lot of those. I don't know why that's in the junk jar. Alright, anyway, let's sweep all this aside. None of those are going to work, but we're going to set the square wire rings aside that we found. Because we actually have those in a separate container. So, move those over here. One of those. Sometimes, okay, giant pile of rings that I don't have a use for at the moment. Now in here, there might be one or two more. No, that's the wrong size. This looks like the only 18 gauge 3/8 one I have. Well darn. That's okay. We will use 16 gauge 5/16. And if I ever come across some some 16 gauge 3/8 square wire rings, we'll just go through and replace them on this. Ruben 3 followed the host. Thank you for the follow. Sounds like two mics for an echo on Facebook. Oh, here. Found it. Let me know if that sounds better. All right. And if you're watching on TikTok, let me know if you're getting a lot of scrambled stuff. I decided I don't want to work on the Finnegans Wake inlay tonight. I just want to kind of clean up some random projects. So this is also square wire, but that's 1/4 inch. Put all this back in the junk jar, where maybe we'll pull it out one day. Now I have more of this cord. If I could just, okay, I can undo that knot fairly quickly. And I'm just adding some rings. Right, there are 6 triangles going around the top of this dice bag. I'm just going to add some rings for that cord to go through. I like how the first comment tonight is a 18 plus check my bio account, and they laughed at me. They laughed at me. How dare they? And this is just going to make the top of this dice bag a little more professional. Now this dice bag has been sitting finished for God knows how long. And I just realized the other day that I did a crappy job of the opening of this, right? Much better sounding on your end. Weaving more 4mm captures tonight. Nice. Yeah, for some reason sorry, new here. What all do? I am making some chainmail. Are you asking like what kinds of things that I make? I usually lately have been working on a large chainmail inlay. And right now I'm just finishing up some projects that have been laying around for far too long. Because I don't want to work on the inlay tonight while I stream. Do we have, oh, that's weird. There's only 5 triangles at the top of this. So that's all we need. Only need 5 square wire rings. There's a bag for those, so I will set that aside. Alright. And if you didn't see it before, I don't have a before and after on this. Let me give you... Alright. So this is what the top should look like. I don't know if my hand's in the way on TikTok or not. This is how the dice bag should close up. It's how it should hang. And I don't have 2 pieces of leather through here. So it's going to be a little different, but for one standard... Awesome, you did some chainmail bracelets before your hands hurt so bad. Great work, thank you. Yeah. So that looks a little better. What's going on here? 2. Oh, I see. We're just adding large rings towards the ends of the triangles that close up this dice bag. And now we've got a nice dice bag. So, you did some chainmail before, and your hands hurt. I can completely relate to that. Is this the project I want to get into tonight? Not particularly, but we'll see how it goes. These are 16 gauge 1/4 inch rings, and I made a crappy little ball, right? And it's crappy. So we're gonna fix this. It's such hard work. It definitely can be. And this is okay. For those of you who watch previous streams, this is anodized aluminum, and I can weave this for hours, right? And not really have any hand issues. What I'm working with right here, this is 16 gauge 1/4 inch stainless steel. I can only do this for a few hours. This bag that I'm working on here, this is 12 gauge 3/8 and bright aluminum, and it's very bright. Shines like the sun, from chainreaction.ca. And this stuff will kill your hands too. So let's see if we can tear this apart and make this better looking. I am using my beefiest pliers because this is a giant pain in the butt. Typically you don't want to use pliers that have teeth on them because you'll mar up the rings. And if I was doing something professional where I'm worried about how the rings look, you know, you don't want them chewed up or anything, I would not be using pliers with teeth on them. But here's the thing, for most projects, right? For this project, I don't know, because this is very difficult to weave, period. So I don't know if I could weave this without using pliers without teeth. Uh-oh. It sounds like my dryer is off balance, or my washer machine is off balance. I just heard an alarm. Alright. So we're going to tear this apart and then build something better out of it. We're going to make another ball, but we're going to make it nicer and prettier. Because honestly, what we started with was crap. And I was just trying to use up rings. So what is you not having teeth have to do with using pliers? So on the stainless steel, they're kind of resistant to tooth marks from the pliers. If I were using any type of precious metal or anodized aluminum, I would want pliers with no teeth in their jaws, right? These will still mar up your rings if you're not using a proper grip or trying to weave a ring with your hands wrapped around each other like that. So using pliers without any teeth is just to try to make a better finished product so that your rings are all nice and shiny and you don't have to go through and try and polish it up. So I got this strip of, what is that? Looks like interwoven 4-in-1 here. And a strip of European 4-in-1. So we're going to work on this and see if we can't make something out of it. We'll probably make a ball and then fill it with some kind of media. As opposed to, I think the last sphere I made was, it's able to hold itself in shape. So, what I'm going to do, these are not all the same polish, so we're just going to mix them up and not worry about how polished they are. So how's everybody doing tonight? How was your weekend? I went ahead and went for a bike ride this evening. It was about 60 degrees. Best weather we've had all week. So I was like, let me get one ride in this year. So I've not had the opportunity to ride all summer. Well, that's not true. I had the opportunity to ride. What I didn't have was I didn't make it a priority. So I got my Harley vest that has, I don't know, it's probably 10 to 15 pounds of Japanese 12 and 2 chainmail on it. Okay, one thing I have to question before I start going any further here is, will I be able to attach another row to this? Because this is pretty tight. It might get too tight in order to do what I want to do. I don't want to spend a ton of time and then find out that I can't add this second row. So, but yeah, I got my kiddo, put a helmet on him and rode around for a little bit, and then I went for a ride for about an hour. Alright, I think we'll be okay with this. That doesn't seem too tight. So we'll keep going if we screw it up. Danny Smith has shared the live video. Thanks so much, Danny. I appreciate it. Everything helps to get me to the 10,000 followers I need on TikTok to use all the rest of my camera equipment. Oh my goodness. Am I going to be able to close this at all? This is there we go. The two ends were just hitting each other. Alright, we're gonna normally I would make a long 1-in-1 chain on either side here and then weave them together, but this is too tight really to do that. So what we're going to do instead is just weave each connection one by one. Oh, who's that? Kaylin Davis sent roses. Thank you so much. I'm always surprised when anybody sends me anything. It's very cool. Kaylin Davis, thanks so much. I do appreciate that. Alright, so where are we at here? So we'll grab the first 2 rings that are already woven into this piece, and then we'll add the next 2 instead of connecting 2 1-in-1 chains for this weave. It's going to give us a little bit more room on the pliers to work with so that we're not slipping off our pliers and doing damage to our bodies, because that happens fairly often. Of course. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Caitlin. Alright, where are we at here? So now that I've done my last motorcycle ride of the year, I'm going to go ahead and take the saddlebags off and bring it downstairs so that I have the saddlebags looking at me from a project table nearby so that I don't forget about them. And that's going to be one of the projects we work on next. Putting some chainmail across the tops of the saddlebags, and then I've never made a bib for a motorcycle tank, but it does not look that complicated. I think I can do it. I'm not great at leather, but I'm not terrible. It's a long strip of leather with 2 holes in either end bolted in place. I can do that. Excuse me. Alright, so thank you for the follow, Caitlin. I appreciate it. One more follower on our quest for 10,000. Alright, for anyone watching, wondering what I'm doing, making some chainmail. If you are interested in learning how to make chainmail, there is an app in the link tree in my bio. It's the MailWorks app for Apple and Google. And in that app are lists of resources to help beginners and for veteran chainmail artists alike, of where you can find all sorts of things. Like tutorials, suppliers, and tools to use. So please, if you want to know how to do what I'm doing, that's my recommendation for the first step, rather. And then the second thing I'd do is, what would the second thing I'd do be? I said doobie. Oh, the second thing I would do is, if you're not interested in making chainmail, but you know someone who is, some lackadaisical, wayward young man who dreams of forging his own swords one day, approximately 14 years old, lives in his head, doesn't like school, socially awkward, right? If you know that kid, share the app with him. The instant, because that was me, basically, right? The instant I saw that you could make this stuff by hand, I went home and started wrapping my own rings and making my first really, really terrible pieces of chainmail. I haven't improved much since then, but I have improved a little bit, so How long do we want to make this? I want one sphere out of this. I don't want to try and make a juggling set. Right, where are we at here? We're just 2 3/4 inches. Kira Ray, thank you for the follow. All right. So maybe if we... That's tiny. We're going to have to make this much larger. Because like I said, it's going to be loose and filled with... I'll probably just fill it with the glow-in-the-dark... They're glow-in-the-dark airsoft BBs that I have. I think those will be perfect. That's what I used on the Trinity juggling ball set that I did. So I'm not gonna lie, it's nice to take a break from that inlay. This inlay I'm working on. We weighed it last night on stream, and it's 40 ounces. And we checked how many ounces per ring that was, and it's 400 rings per ounce. So it's 16,000 rings. And I easily have another 16,000 to go. Come on, don't go under my computer. That's a bad place for a ring. Alright, and I think I mentioned on stream, I found the little chainmail themed dog hoodie. I did find it. I think I showed it too. Where's it at? It's across the room. But it's a little hoodie I bought for my dog Baxter. He's a Chihuahua Beagle mix from the streets of San Antonio. And he's more like a cat, really. And now we have a corgi. And I wanted to... The hoodie that I had did not fit Baxter, so we have a corgi named Elliot, and that we just got. And I think while he's in the puppy stage, this hoodie might fit him, so I'm going to put it on him and squeeze him into it, because the instant... Well, he will have outgrown it by next week. So, I gotta do it quick. Kid's home from school tomorrow, so it'll just be me and him hanging out, and we'll get some pictures of the dog. I think Ryan Carp followed the host. Thank you for the follow, Ryan. I think we're going to go 5 inches. Circumference. Outer circumference. Because the reality is we only have so many rings, right? And the point is to use them up. But I can't just make it any size that I want, because I've got to use up all of these rings. And not... I mean, ideally not have any left over, but more importantly, not run out so that I have to reduce the size of everything. I don't want to go back and redo this once it's made. Because the whole point is to use it up and get it out of my way. Alright. Oh, so last night I was talking about my mom. My mom passed away 4 years ago in her sleep. And it is actually today. I wasn't certain which night it was. It was today. So it would have been the 6th in Israel when she passed away 4 years ago, but it was the 5th here. The night of the 5th here when I got the word. Excuse me, sorry, I needed a drink of water. This is thirsty work. Oh, goodness. Excuse me. I'm still fighting off that cold from the last 2 weeks. Alright, so this is what we're making. And we're going to make it a circle and then close it up and it'll be hollow, so we'll fill it up with some airsoft BBs. Alright. Nope, why did I open that? Alright, how's the streaming quality on TikTok? We often have difficulty because I am down in my basement. And I have a Wi-Fi extender down here that's seemingly been working the last couple nights. But if it's going in and out for you, I apologize. Haven't had any complaints, but there, what is Streamlabs saying? It says we haven't had any disconnections in the last 25 minutes, so both the computer and my phone are on Wi-Fi. And if you want to watch at a different angle, you can find me on all major platforms under the same name. All major streaming platforms. All right. 2, 3, 4. Okay. And so far, it doesn't seem like my pliers are chewing up these rings too bad. I'll still throw it in the tumbler when it's done. Even though I probably don't need to. But it's a stainless steel project, and so you can tumble it for forever. And it doesn't polish itself up as nicely as, say, like this bright aluminum, right? The more you shine aluminum, the brighter and brighter it gets. It's ridiculous, right? But stainless steel does a pretty good job of cleaning itself up, and you won't really reduce tool marks from your pliers, from the teeth of your pliers. Like, you'll still be able to see them, but it kind of buffs them out a little bit when you throw stainless steel in the tumbler. I've got Chris, thanks for the follow. I've got the titanium dice bag over here. And I thought I was sitting at my wrist jeweler's cool. Thank you. I made this one, and I bought this one, and I made, oh, that's not supposed to do that. I made this one with the triquetras on it, and I bought, this is called Kinged Viperberus. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I assume that's how you pronounce it. That is phonetically how it looks. And they're the ones that look like stainless steel are all stainless steel. This one is blackened titanium. And this is a weave. I don't know how clear it is, but it's called JPL, which stands for Gens Pinned Linkage, and it just makes a nice, very movable weave. Like some weaves, like full Persian, are very stiff, or can be very stiff. And weaves like Byzantine and JPL, they're very flexible. Where am I at here? That. Normally I would have necklaces. Normally I would be wearing necklaces too, but I'm trying to... I've got a bunch of my jewelry over here. So I want to lengthen this one. This is a full Persian chain. And you know how I was saying it's not that flexible, right? Whereas JPL, you can nearly fold it in half. I need to lengthen this just a little bit. This is called ringception. It's when you use rings to make rings and then you weave them together. And it's a lot of fun. And this, I need to make this longer. Let's see here. This is my other necklace. I need to make this longer too. Right? But this is a sterling silver clasp. And it's nice, it's pretty, but it's not going to hold up to anything, right? So this had the same sterling silver clasp on it, and I just made a big cuff out of it so it could fit over my hand. And I want to do the same with this one, but I got to get some more of these ring sizes. And they're all sitting over here in a pile waiting to have me pay attention to them. And one day I will get to them. And I have a bunch of really cool pendants to go with my necklaces that I'll get to it. It's a matter of when, not if. You're a seamstress? Very cool. I have an aunt who sewed me. She is a seamstress, and all her girls were in 4-H growing up. Seamstress, ran a little farm, had 6 daughters. And she made me my vest for prom, my junior year. Oh, there's another seamstress that I follow, and I don't remember her name, but she and her husband like redo Beetles, and she does the upholstery inside. Fucking crazy. It's one of those things where once you get going and you know what you're doing, you can really do some awesome stuff. Where are we at here? Are we at 5 inches yet? 4.5? You have projects everywhere? Yes. I too have projects everywhere. There is not just the ones on camera. Let's see here. Let me switch over here. See if I can show you. So, there's my water cup. There's 3 tables. 1, 2, and then this one right here, that's 3, next to my desk. And they're all, that's almost all projects. Where am I at? Part of the reason why I'm down here is to clean up that mess. You're still working on the going. You have projects everywhere. You're still working on the going of projects. But yeah, there's some of that is supplies. And most of the rings that I have is that true? I was about to say most of the rings that I have are almost all used up. Right? Like I've gotten rid of most of the small. Oh, okay. I've gotten rid of most of the small collections of rings. I have some 22 gauge 1/8 brass and bronze that I need to get some stuff done with. But other than that, everything is a large quantity of large rings. And some scales. We should do some scale mail. Speaking of seamstresses, this reminded me. There was someone doing motorcycle seats and doing different designs with their stitching patterns. Now, I make chainmail, right? I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. I can't reach it, but I have a chainmail leather stamp. I want to get the front and rear fender either hydro dipped or wrapped on my motorcycle with a chainmail pattern, and then put chainmail on the saddlebags and on the bib that I want to do this winter. And so it would be really cool if there was a way to do like a chainmail pattern and have a custom motorcycle seat built. Just to tie it all together. None of that's going to happen anytime soon, but a man can dream. Where am I? How many? That's 5 inches right there. How many rings do I have left? Too many. I'm eyeballing this stack of rings here. And like I said, what I don't want to do is run out of rings, right? And there's one. There's another one. All right. So we're going to keep going around here. Or keep lengthening this, rather. Well, no, I tell you what. Here's what we'll do. We'll start closing each side and then see how many rings we have left. I think that's a smarter approach because that'll give us a better look at how many rings I'll have left. Is everybody, are you ready for the holidays? Every time I see a video or a post about Christmas, I just immediately skip it. It's like I don't want to hear anything about it or listen to any Christmas music until the day after Thanksgiving, at the earliest. No, you're not ready? No, me either. The whole family comes over to our house for Christmas, so. But I'm not worried about that. It's 2 months away. Excuse me. But we're through the first quarter of school. We've got Halloween down. 2 more holidays to go. Bob shared the live. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate you. All right. If you could get anything for Christmas, what would it be? I want a, what's it called? It's a DC, as in direct current, adjustable energy thingy. It's something I need to anodize the titanium that I have here. So that's what I want. And a CO2 laser, and a CNC machine, and a list of things I want to add to. Oh, a 3D printer. Want a 3D printer. Alright, so that's kind of one side. Now, okay, so here is a pro tip, okay? Normally, when you're attaching a row of 4-in-1 to elf weave or interwoven 4-in-1, like I have here, I don't know if you can see that, but this is the start of the European 4-in-1 that I'm going to do, and this is the strip of interwoven 4-in-1 that we're working on. Okay? Normally you would use slightly larger rings because you lose all of the flex once you start adding 4-in-1 to each side, right? There's no, it becomes real rigid. And if you use a larger ring, you get less of that rigidity. So with 16-gauge 1/4" interwoven 4-in-1, I like to use 16-gauge 5/16, but I don't have any 16-gauge 5/16 that I'm getting rid of at the moment. So Betsy, thank you for the follow. One more follow on our journey to 10,000. And once we hit 10,000, we'll get there, right? Once we hit 10,000, we will. All that means is that I'll be able to use the same equipment that I'm using to stream to other platforms on TikTok. And why do I want that so bad? Because it's really, I've never had any luck on the other platforms streaming. I've only really ever done well streaming on TikTok. And I don't have time to well, okay, here's the reality. I'm not good at editing videos and making like little clips of stuff. I don't know how to do it, and so every time I try, it kind of just ends in like a 4-hour long frustrating process where I end up with no work done and pure frustration. So I've stuck to streaming. I'm okay with technology, but there's a lot of streaming things I've tried that have also added to the frustration, and so I try to keep it clean and simple, and when I get something to work, I try to leave it alone after that. Because if I don't, I will, it will just frustrate my life. So I do try to make little TikTok videos in addition to streaming, and I've gotten better at that. What are your findings and what is the material? So findings like talking about this one's from Etsy. This is from China. That one is from whitneymail.com. And then that one, same thing, it's from China. I don't remember the name of the store. These are... Where did I get those? Etsy? I don't remember exactly where I got those. They're all stainless steel, except for the buckle portion. These two wings right here are some kind of coated base metal, because they'll rub off and it's copper looking underneath, which I'm fine with. Thank you. How are you tonight, Betsy? All right. You're doing good? That's good to hear. Come on. That right there. So someone was asking earlier, like, why does it matter if I'm using pliers with teeth on them And that movement right there where my plier just slipped, right, that's going to leave a mark. But since this is just going on the shelf with the rest of my chainmail collection, it doesn't matter. Because I'm the only one who's going to care. And I don't. If it were a professional item, like I said earlier, I would have used... Actually, honestly, I probably would have still used these pliers with the yellow handles. Because this is pretty thick. 16 gauge 1/4 inch is pretty difficult to work with. For long periods of time, but in general. Right? So these pliers give you a lot of leverage. And that's good for wire this thick. These pliers with no teeth would not do as well. You could manage it, but you'd probably slip and stab your wrist a bunch of times. Alright. So Betsy, do you make jewelry? What kind of jewelry do you make? Not really? Oh, okay. Okay. So this is 5 inches long. We've got our first row of E4 and 1 in here. How many? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 45, 46, 44, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 67, 59, 60, 61, 62, 64, 65, 67. 67 rings. So each of these is going to... Is that 17 around total or 18? That's... I think we have enough to finish this if we leave it at this length without... It's approximately 5 inches. Do I work differently when not streaming? You're a... Okay, Betsy's a fiber artist. I don't know what a fiber artist does. What does a fiber artist do? And do I work differently when not streaming? Not particularly. I'm not talking. I'm usually watching something. But no, this is pretty much, the original style of how I work. I sit down here on my computer and... Oh, spinning yarn and knitting. Okay, very cool. Very, very cool. Alright. Let's attempt to connect these ends. No prepping of rings? Not usually, no. So a lot of people will weave with a pile of opened rings, right? These are all open. And then they'll close off another group of rings. And that really works for some people. Some people will try and speed weave, both with pre-closing and pre-opening rings, and then they'll make like one unit or multiple units of 4-in-1, for example, and then they'll weave all of them together at the end. And I look at it like this. I've got to open and close each ring regardless of whether I prep it or not. And I've tried to get into weaving that way. It never worked for me. Okay, so this. I think I know what I'm doing. Let's see. Let's see how well I know my weaving. Not a lot of room on this. That doesn't look right. No. Alright, hang on a second. This might work. Might not, but it might work. Okay. Attaching the ends of weaves is always a giant pain in the butt. 4-in-1's pretty easy. 6-in-1 is a little more difficult. Byzantine's okay, but weaves like full Persian or elf weave or this interwoven 4-in-1 strip I'm working on here, yeah. You don't know whether or not you did it right until you've connected it, and then you got to look at it and verify it over and over again. And even this, I think, so here, we had, how many rings around? 16? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16. That's 17, 18. Man, even this has, like, it looks like it's going good, but I'm going to tear it apart and try and get it down to 18 rings. Because at 18 rings around, right, that'll give us a symmetrical way to close it. You want to make chainmail briefs with a pocket for, interesting. Not a cop. Does 4-in-1 mean 4 jump rings to 1? Yes. So, the rings in the center here all have 4 other rings through them. I can give you a better example here. These are very large rings. Right? There's 4 rings going through each ring. And that's your standard. When you see like medieval European armor, that's what you're looking at, is European 4-in-1. Okay, so I want to take one section out of this, because 19 rings around is gonna make it weird to try and close. And I would like to make it a solid 18. It'll be more symmetrical. So if I just do this, turn that out, tear that out, So okay. That goes there, which is on the outside, and this is on the inside. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. All right. There are many weaves that have names that are similar to what they look like, right? Like European Foreign One has 4 rings going through every ring, right? But come on. 2 of the bracelets on my wrist, the Kinged Viperberus. King just means that there's 2 rings in each weaving slot instead of 1. And then this one, this JPL, Jen's Pin Linkage over here, those names don't have anything to do with with how the weave looks. And it turns out that I can do what I was attempting to do, but it's very tight. Trying to. Do I just need to add some rings here? If you there's a website called Male Artisans International League, right? And if you go on that website, part of it doesn't work, but some of it does. And there's a search function kind of deal where you can go and search up weaves, and you can go look at some of the names of all these weaves, and people just come up with some crazy names for different chainmail weaves. It's fun. Excuse me. Alright, what happened here? Did I do that right or no? Yes? Gotta add one more ring here. Yeah. I might have gotten this on the first try. Come on. Oh, it doesn't want to come back up. There we go. And this is really tight. So this closure is going to be probably crap. Let's see here. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, did we do it? Does that look correct? Oh, we're missing a ring down here. I don't know how I'm going to get that woven. There's a ring on the inside here that is missing. And something's not right. This is what I mean when, like, connecting the ends of this. Like, not only is this tight, but this is just a pain to weave together. We're gonna try it. This is gonna be. Kaylin, you have a good night too. Thank you very much. Oh, come on. Super tight on the inside here. Oh, phrasing. Yeah. I can't go in your home. Just go in your home. Let's see if I use smaller pliers. Does it give me a little bit more wiggle room? Kind of. I'm weaving a ring on the inside of this little circle here. And yeah, how are we going to close that? Oh, another reason not to use pliers that have no teeth on difficult rings to weave, larger rings in stainless steel, is because the rings will chew up your pliers. And pliers are not cheap. Come on, let me get a hold of that. I should have... If you're ever connecting the ends of interwoven 4-in-1 or elf weave into a circle like this, make sure that you do the inside ring first, so you're not a moron like me. Come on. Oh, God. So close. We actually are going to be able to close this ring. It's crazy. Well, I mean, maybe... I don't think I've spoken too soon. Come on. You're going to close. There we go. Holy crapola. And you know what? We might end up with a sphere that holds itself in place. We might not even need to fill it with anything. This is still pretty tight. And it should use up most of the rest of our rings here. I don't know. What time is it? 9:45? Yeah. We're not going to finish this in 15 minutes, but it's a decent amount of work done. When I was working on the titanium jelly cube, we were kind of just weighing it as we went along, so I weigh it once an hour, and I was doing about 200 rings an hour, which, you know, it's not record-setting weaving speeds, but for small rings like the 20 gauge 1/8 I was using, it's pretty good. Alright. Okay, so this is where we're at. We've got this start to a ball, and it's going to get a little tighter, I think. We'll see. And like I mentioned, normally I would use a larger ring size so that this doesn't get as rigid. But since we're making a sphere, it's kind of whatever. The smaller rings have made this strip, this middle strip, tighten down a little bit. And the more rows we add, I think the tighter it'll get, right? But you can do things like, this is 16 gauge wire to make these rings. You can use 18 gauge wire, and it'll, I don't think it'll reduce, I don't think it'll reduce the rigidity at all. So like, say if you were making a sleeve of European 4-in-1, you wanted to trim it somehow, right? You could either decrease the wire gauge or make the rings a different size in order to make a nice cuff to the end of your sleeve. I don't know where else you would use that. But like this dice bag, right? We put a strip of elf weave on the top and bottom, and it brings it in nicely. right? And this is all one size ring. And it kind of worked out. So we didn't have to do any adjustments on ring sizes on this. All right, where are we at here? All right. Let's see if we can use up the rest of these rings. Okay. So there's 18 rings here, and the reason I wanted an even number is because we're going to close it off. And it's just easier if it's all symmetrical. So, all right, let's just, if we, (18) is divisible by 6, and so if we make 6 little triangles to close up the end or the side here, let's see what we get. Oh, excuse me. All right, we'll get, this is similar to how you would close off the end of a dice bag or something like that. So that's 3 times 6. That's another 18. That's another 18. And we'll be close to using up the bulk of these rings here. We won't use them all up, but that's fine. The goal was not to run out of rings, and I think we'll be okay. And we'll have a much more successful product than what I started out with at the beginning of the stream, which was just this kind of lump of a attempt at making a sphere. So, and this is, you know, a good addition to the collection of chainmail on the basement wall. So we will have succeeded. I'll be quite happy to have used up these rings and finished another pile of rings that I didn't want to just, that I can't just have sitting around because I don't have any use for them. Right? Trying to use up all the rings in my basement. 2, 3, 4. And then I will start ordering rings specifically for certain projects, and I will order all of the rings I need at a given time, at one time. So I don't have this issue of all these random ring sizes that I bought with no project in mind for them, and have them just sitting here. A lot of people that I know in the chainmail community will buy a lot of rings in bulk, and they are mass producing their own designs for sale, right? And I do some of that, but these guys are like, this is their job, okay? This is not my job. I don't have a job. Okay. I do this for fun, and I just make stuff because I think it's cool. Alright, did we get all 6? If I do that, yeah, we're doing that. Come on. I do this for fun, and so I spend my time making things that I want to make. Right? And if that does sometimes include multiple, like I have a bunch of these style bracelets that have made and in the process of making, right? And those will go out for sale. This style as well. This might change up because having 4 beads on one side is pretty heavy, so. But I'll make more of these eventually too. And that's really just because I can, because I want to, not, like, I don't need to. What I need to do is sell kits and a tutorial of how to do this so that people can make it themselves. That I would do. Alright, we might need 2 somewhat larger ring sizes or thinner. Yeah, the 6 triangles are going to fold up into one end of this. We could leave it like this and just make a basket out of it, but Lala Sasaki. Lala Sasaki. Thank you for the follow. This interwoven 4-in-1 you could probably add another layer of, maybe not in this ring size, but if you did 2 rows of interwoven 4-in-1, right, and then did a bottom to this little basket that we have going on, that would make a nice basket. Okay, where did I stop at? Right there. Come on. Where's the next one? So I put 18 rings on each side, and then I made 6 triangles from those 18 rings. And now I'm closing all the seams of those triangles. And that will close up the end of this sphere here. And then we'll do the other side. I thought for sure we were going to have to add some media to make sure it held its shape, but I don't think so anymore. All right, let's see here. once I get to working on the saddlebags, they are too large to work on my desk here. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to get my cameras over to another table. Not that that doesn't matter for TikTok, right? But for all the other platforms I stream on, I would like to be able to record everything onto my YouTube channel without having to do too much work. Alright, come on. That through. This is getting quite tight. These rings want to close up on themselves. Alright, where to go? Okay, now if I remember correctly, this is going to be, should be 12 rings here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah. So it's 12 rings around on the bottom, right? You can kind of see how it wants to close in on itself now. So, I have, that's probably too big. That's too square. I don't have any rings in the junk jar right in front of me that would... Oh, hey. I was looking for those earlier. Hang on, let me grab... a ring that's slightly bigger. I'm not really going anywhere. I'm just stepping right over here. We'll see if this works. Because sometimes you gotta add a slightly larger ring to be the queen ring. And sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes you have to use a thinner ring. All right. Where's the opening? Oh, it's saw cut. I couldn't see the opening. 'Tis a saw cut ring. Oh, goodness. It's going to be tight. What I'm almost tempted to do. So, it's a European foreign one, but the seams, right? European foreign one usually has 2 rings on either side, laying flat, facing the same direction, right? And there's not quite enough room to... It's tempting, right? To just remove half of these rings. Because there's just not enough room here. But Look at that. What time is it? It is 10 o'clock. Alrighty. This is definitely a sphere that's going to hold its shape, which is kind of cool. I wasn't expecting that. I have made one similar to this, and it holds its shape pretty well, so I guess maybe I should have expected that, but I wonder if I replace these, instead of replacing the queen ring with a different size ring, what if I used a 18 gauge 3/16 ring? Do I have any 18 gauge 1/4 inch ring? I don't know. What is this? That's a ring we can use. Decisions. Because we've got, I don't know if you can see it, we've got, you know, 1/8 of an inch to fit in 3 more rings. And it's just going to be super tight. And these rings are kind of jutting out anyway. Right? But, alright, I tell you what. I don't have time to finish this tonight. I'm going to have to leave this as is. But we got a lot of work done. Look at that. It looks so much better than when it started, right? And then we got this ugly portion right here we got to take care of. I don't know how I'm going to fix that yet. I'll think about it. Let me get this going here. Okay. So, for anyone who is interested in learning how to make chainmail, my name's Sean. I run a website called mailworks.com. You can find it in the link tree in my bio. And you will also find links to an app on Apple and Google that have a bunch of resources on where to find supplies, tutorials, lists of ring manufacturers on there, and forums and Facebook groups for people to go to. So if you're interested in learning how to do this or stuff like this, right? Download the Mailworks app. It's in my bio. And if you're interested in supporting me, please go to my website, mailworks.com, where you will find all the different types of chainmail themed apparel and accessories that I design. So, thank you for hanging out. I do appreciate you being here. I'm going to figure out what to do with this ugly end here. We'll make it look pretty. And then we'll have a nice sphere. And later on, we will work on the that big inlay I just showed you. But in the meantime, the rest of you have a wonderful evening. I appreciate you all hanging out and for all the roses and everything. You guys all have a good night. Bye. All right, that's done. Okay, whoever is watching on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, I'm going to head out. I've got some stuff to do before I go to bed. So you as well have a wonderful evening.